are the air I breathe. You are the air I breathe. Your holy presence living in me. And I'm grateful for you. And I'm grateful for you. We'll sing it again. Now you know the song. You are the air I breathe. You are the air I breathe. Your holy presence living in me. And I'm grateful for you. And I'm grateful for you. I'm grateful for you. When I find myself in times of trouble, Mother Mary comes to me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. And in my hour of darkness, she is standing right in front of me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. Whisper words of wisdom, let it be. And when the broken-hearted people living in the world agree, there will be an answer, let it be. For though they may be parted, there is still a chance that they will speak. There will be an answer, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. There will be an answer, let it be. And when the night is cloudy, there is still a light that shines on me. Shine until tomorrow, let it be. I wake up to the sound of music. Mother Mary comes to me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. Sing with all your might now. Let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. There were words of wisdom, let it be. Let it be. Words of wisdom, let it be. Well, welcome. So we are still doing this talk series where we've been interviewing people about their lives, and when we really do get to hear people's stories, whether they're difficult or they're beautiful, we tend to fall in love with people because we recognize that we are all more similar than we are different. And so today I'll be sharing a personal story of mine that many of you probably haven't heard, and some of you have if you've been here for a long time, but we've got lots of new faces in the crowd today. I just finished the book group, a women's book group that was taking place at my house on Thursday evenings called Marrow. It was after the book Marrow by Elizabeth Lesser, which is a powerful journey of two sisters who are facing a sister with cancer with bone marrow issues, and she's the perfect match, and she ends up having to give her bone marrow to her sister. And the whole book is about coming into our true and total authentic selves. The vulnerable, the surrender, the acceptance of things that you don't really think are acceptable, and recognizing that life has these flows, these ebbs and flows of beauty and gorgeousness and difficulties and sour times, and that there is a divine plan to all of it, and it's something for us to discover. You know, we don't necessarily know why the turbulences show up in our lives. We don't know why things go really peaceful at times, but we do know that when we've gone through those turbulent times, there's an incredible jump in consciousness in our experiences, more of an awareness of something greater that takes over when things are difficult. And we really do see God a little bit more easily when we are in difficult times. For some reason, we're more able to surrender and ask for spiritual guidance when things aren't going well. When we're going on a perfect ride and life is going well, we don't seek to need that greater potential, that greater love to really help us through our life. And I think that's why we keep going back into the ebbs and the flows, because we get into that place. It's kind of like when you've decided to get on a major workout regimen, right? And you're so dedicated to it, and all of a sudden you're really liking that your tummy's tighter, and you're feeling really good, and you're looking in the mirror, and you've really got it down, and you think that, well, you know what, maybe I'll just drop the exercise and see if my body stays this way. We all do it. I don't know what that is, but there's this little self-destructive nature that wants to be like, I think maybe I just have a beautiful body now, and I don't have to work for it. I'm not the only one that does that, right? At this age, I can't get away with that anymore, so I have to work out. But it's that idea, which is cultivating this deep relationship with this greater potential, this greater love we call God, Spirit, Allah, whatever word is the word that makes you feel divinely connected and divinely guided. The word that makes you feel hugged and supported. So my talk title today is, I Am the Door to Love Without Conditions. It is from a book called Love Without Conditions by the author Paul Ferrini. This is probably my favorite spiritual book on this journey. People always ask me, they'd like to know the lists of books that I love. And I'm about to start a book group, actually starting on the 1st of August, which is a Thursday. We'll be meeting the first and third Thursday of the month, and we'll actually be studying the book Broken Open by Elizabeth Lesser. And you probably ask, why wouldn't I be speaking on that book? And I'd be speaking on a book. This book I would never probably do a book group on, because it's really a personal journey for you, between you and Christ consciousness. This book is written from the idea that this man, Paul Ferrini, is speaking to you from the wisdom of Christ, from Jesus. So all the language is this incredible, loving terminology speaking at you of, why is it that you don't recognize the power that lives within you? If you saw what I see in you, wouldn't you start to love yourself more completely and more beautifully? So I want to read this passage from the book, and it says it this way. I have told you that no matter how many times you have refused to enter the sanctuary, you have only to knock, and the door will be open to you. I have said to you, ask, and it shall be given you. But you refuse to believe me. You think that someone is counting your sins, your moments of indecision or recalcitrance, but it is not true. You are the only one counting. I say to you, brothers and sisters, stop counting. Stop making excuses. Stop pretending that the door is locked. I am here at the threshold. Reach out and take my hand, and we will open the door and walk through it together. That's just one of the great passages from the book. But I like to, before I start my meditation, just open the book and let Spirit show me what I need to be mirrored back? What is the affirmation that I need to be told about my loving self? Because within every person, insecurities reside. It's part of the journey. You know, I might be able to stand up here and do a sermon, but that doesn't mean that I don't have my insecurities and my worries for life, for teenage children that I have, for the future of the center, for working with my brother now and bringing him into this ministry with me. I'm not without the world issues that bring up fear and disconnect. I just probably know how to get back on the path and connect with this greater power a little quicker, because every day I can close my office and say busy meditating, which is a pretty huge gift. That's a pretty amazing job, right? So in the book Wishes Fulfilled, which was written by Wayne Dyer, he says this: I'm inviting you to be receptive to a radical new idea about yourself. It's radical because ever since you left your mother's womb, you've been subjected to cultural conditioning designed to help you be content with living a normal life. At the level of ordinary consciousness, which generally means accepting whatever life hands you, in many ways, you've been programmed to believe that you do not possess the wisdom or ability to manifest the fulfillment of your wishes and desires. In many ways, you've been programmed to believe that you do not possess the wisdom or ability to manifest the fulfillment of your wishes and desires. So, you know, when you look at the Paul Ferrini quote and you look at Wayne Dyer, Paul Ferrini's work is more about all unconditional acceptance of life and how it flows. He will meet you at the door and move through that door with you as you fully open up and expand to that which has been divinely ordered for your life. And that divine order is this manifestation to how much you're willing to become open in your consciousness to see that you are capable of having all this beauty in your life. Whereas Wayne Dyer's talking about it from the consciousness that there's an early kind of message that's told to us that we should just accept the littleness, that we are only human. How often do we hear that? We are only human. But the truth is we're spiritual first. We're spiritual beings. We're souls first before we enter this human experience. So there is this access to this greater spiritual ether that is always available to us when we quiet our minds. And we stop looking to the problems of the world for the answers to our problems and start to look to the light of the world and vibrate in the ripples of light and allow us to start gaining that incredible momentum when we start to look through a lens of light. I am light. I am beauty. I'm holy. I'm lovable. I'm worthy. I'm healthy. I'm strong. I'm abundant. I'm happy. All those affirmations takes us out of depressions, takes us and opens us up to meeting the lover that we've always wanted to meet, or to finally look at our spouse and be able to see them the way they deserve to be seen by you. Steve Anderson, who is on our board of directors now, is going to be adding this really cool program to Unity, and it's called GAB. And it's about growing the consciousness in this community. And we're going to be bringing it into Unity around Welcome Home Sunday, which is August 24th, 25th, and 26th. In the future, on Saturday evening, Shad will be the minister for those sermons at 5 o'clock. And on Sundays, Jack will be the minister at 9 o'clock. We're going back to 9 o'clock. And I will always be the minister at the 11 o'clock service, just to get some clarity, because that handout, I just read it, and there's no way that made any sense. I did proof it on Friday, but I'm like, whoa, this makes no sense. But this is one of the things he says in the GAD packet. The only thing that is constant is change. So let that change be positive. Change can be hard. It can be a little scary. When we are in a positive, energetic state, the next moment or future must match our present state. The only thing that is constant is change. So let that change be positive. Change can be hard. It can be a little scary. When we are in a positive, energetic state, the next moment or future must match our present state. And I just want to give one more slide here. The ideal of your soul, the thing that it yearns for, is not more knowledge. It is not interested in comparison, nor winning, nor light, nor ownership, nor even happiness. The ideal of your soul is space, expansion, and immensity. And the one thing it needs more than anything else is to be free to expand, to reach out and to embrace the infinite. Why? Because your soul is infinity itself. It has not restrictions or limitations. It resists being fenced in, and when you attempt to contain with rules and obligations, it is miserable. This is so important right here. Because when you look at traditional Christianity and churches, they thrive on telling you there's something wrong with you for your constant attendance, right? So you're a sinner. You harbor bad thoughts. You need to go and confess your sins. So you're looking through this lens that there's something wrong with you that they need to fix. And so while we're going to church in these type of places, which if you love those churches, that's fine. I'm just going to give my opinion on this. You can always find a unity message in any church, any Buddhist center, any place you go, honestly speaking. And I'm not judging right now. I'm just merely observing that we go to church to find relief. That's what church is all about, is to find the relief from the hardships of life. Okay, and then you go to church and you're told that there's all these things that you literally born in as sinners. Right out the gate, like already you're broken. And then you're living your life to get right and get the favor of God through your journey in Christianity. And the truth is some people walk through life and they like to be the sheep. They feel more connected as the sheep. They like to be in this collective of people that are in the sheep, and people tell them what to do, and they feel a sense of safety. But then there's people that wake up, and they can no longer be told what they're supposed to feel about their God. They can no longer be told there's something wrong with them. Because people do that to each other enough. We don't need our spiritual love guide to be anything but love. And so what that passage is saying is that we actually are looking in the spiritual life for our freedom. Who's feeling free in your life right now? In every area. I saw some hands go back down when I said every area. I'm not necessarily feeling free in every area of my life either. I'm just asking. It's just a curious question. Because your soul is infinity itself, it has not restrictions or limitations. It resists being fenced in, and when you attempt to contain with rules and obligations, it is miserable. People wonder why we have depression running rampant in this particular country. Because the expectations of people in this country to be working 2 and 3 jobs and miss out on raising their children, and everybody's just like basically high-fiving themselves at night, crashing to get back up to go through this massive life for attainable abundance. For the mansion in the sky, for the 2 amazing cars, right? And I've gotten caught up in all of that in my life at times. This isn't my first time to this pony show. It's a process. It's an awakening. But like they say, the more things you own, the more the things you own you. That idea, I think as we get older, we get a little bit more realistic of what actually makes us happy. We slow down as we get older because we can't do as much as we used to. And I fight that. I fight that. I wonder, why is it that every time I leave work, I have to take a 20-minute nap before I make dinner for the kids and do the rest of the homework and everything? I never had to do that before. And I want to fight that. I'm mad at myself that I have to have that. And I was saying something to Heather about that today, and she said, but that means you're getting wiser. You're not pushing yourself around anymore. That's a sense of recognizing that you're listening to the body, and you're not pushing it to run ragged like you did at 25, because I'm not 25 anymore, right? And I'm sure there's people that are 65 going, well, I need to take 2 naps, and that's fine. Or you have to take longer than 20 minutes. I'm not here to judge. A power nap is a powerful thing, right? So it's very important at the core of how we become self-realized. When we are in relationships that dictate how we show up in life, that's a big one, right? And it doesn't necessarily have to be a significant other, but working with people that dictate how you have to show up in life, parents that might even be dead at this point, but you're still hearing their voices telling you that you have to do it something different than how you're doing it. A lot of us have this, they call it monkey chatter, that's still talking you out of listening to your heart. Listening to the light that's within you that's saying, today is the day of the rest of your life. Every moment, this is your choice. Do you want to commune with God, or do you want to listen to the monkey chatter? Do you want to see what God can do through you and quit meeting with the limitations of the human experience and recognize that you can heal yourself of whatever's going on in your life through this mind-heart connection? And trusting that there is no power, there is no doctor, there is no person that's better than you and your knowledge and how you are going to heal and get connected and blow people's minds and create miracles through you as Jesus promised that we can do. We promised that. He said, through me, you can work the same miracles as I do. And through him, meaning his Christ consciousness, the highest consciousness, which is meditation and self-discovery, and to know thyself, which is made perfect in the image and likeness of God, nothing can stand in our way. There is no mountain that you can't cross or climb over. And if you keep knocking on the door that's closed, find the door that's open. And God will walk through that door with you. But try learning to look at different directions when things seem like they're ending, because there's a time and a season in life. And we have a tendency to be too scared to look at the new way of living life that we will keep knocking at a closed door for so long, because it's all we know how to do. But you don't need to know how to do it, because God knows how to do it through you. And it's in that surrender. It's in that letting go of control, which scares the crap out of everybody, to let go of control and to trust that there's something greater at hand in everything that we're dealing with, to get out of our own way and let it move in and through every aspect of our lives. So I'm going to share an intimate story about my life, which is not a powerful story, but one that's helped me be the person that I am now. And you know, people will say, do you have any regrets? Do you have any regrets about the things that you've been through? Which I've been through a lot, and if you've been in this ministry, you've heard many of the stories. But a lifetime ago, and I'm not going to name this person, I was in an extremely abusive, emotional abusive relationship. And it started out so beautiful. Everybody was conned by this person, by my family, by everyone, my friends. This person just came in, just the sweetest, soft-talking, kindest being on the planet. And I got married too fast, for sure. And I didn't get enough research in. But the mask started to be pulled off. Just slow enough that my soul couldn't quite keep up. Right, so it was just, that's a red flag. Well, that's a red flag. And it was just, I couldn't make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich right. I couldn't open a refrigerator correctly. I couldn't drive a car correctly. I couldn't do anything without being corrected on everything. And I literally found myself wanting to die because I couldn't find how I was going to get out of this situation. They had just gotten so deeply messed up. He had way too much control over the internet and my image and my work, and he was, threatening that he would destroy my image, and it was just, I can't even explain the nightmare of that experience. But I was hiding it from everyone, and I had to come and show up and be smiling, and I'd be okay. And I would be okay, because I had meditation. I had everything that I could possibly use, until one day it just finally just imploded, My oldest daughter said to me, I'm going to go move out to not live around this person anymore. I can't watch you disappearing and sick all the time. I was sick all the time. I was so sick, I could not get healthy because I couldn't find my way out. I was in this trapped circle. I was just chasing my tail, and I couldn't find my way out. Until one day I finally got the courage to walk in my father's office. And we're like New Yorkers. We're very overly dramatic and emotional. I don't think that I told him standing. I just remember laying, flopping around on his office floor. It was such a relief, like, I'm dying! Yeah, I'm dying, I'm literally dying. And him just looking over the desk, like, like, wow, we got trouble in the house, And he's looking with his big eyes, and I knew he already knew, really, but, they're waiting for me to say, I need help. I need to get out of this. And that day was one of the most powerful days of the beginning of my life, because sometimes we have to ask other people for help. Sometimes we can't find it by ourselves. That's the power of this life, is to see that we can trust one another, that together we're an army of love to heal everybody's lives, no matter where there's something limited in your life. We don't have to do this alone. That's what community is about. That's what healing is about, is to be able to be vulnerable enough and say, I'm scared. I'm really scared right now. And I don't know what to do. When our spiritual sisters and brothers can sit with us and mirror that love, it's almost like we're energy. You've seen those commercials for the phones. When they run out, we can put the phone together and they can get recharged. That's what it's like for us. That women's group that we just closed last Thursday, we were putting our cell phones together, but it was our hearts. And we cried together. And we laughed really hard together. And we recognized that within each and every one of us is a call for spiritual freedom and sisterhood. We want to trust one another. We want our spiritual family. All of us have different relationships with our families. Some have great families and some people don't. But that shouldn't matter if we have this community where we can grow these relationships into so many ways. We have divorce support groups. We have singles groups. We have the Spelunkers group, which is meeting right after the service, and they're going to, where are you going? Okay, they're going camping. But meet with her. She'll be in the fellowship after the service. I also, there's a place to plug in everywhere. There's a senior group. There's a meditation on Monday and Wednesday. I have a new book group starting on the 1st and 3rd of August, 1st and 3rd week on Thursdays. I want to see all you women there. I've got 16 warrior women that are about to hold space with you that have been with me in my own home getting ready for you. And Shad has his group that's starting on that Saturday for the men to go and have kombucha and beers together over a book. We just felt the men would feel more comfortable with beer and spirituality. Us women, we could just start, we can be lap of tears without the wine or the beer. A little iced tea and we're all good. In the Course in Miracles, it says it this way. Nothing can show the contrasts better than the experience of both a holy and unholy relationship. The first is based on love, and rests on it serene and undisturbed. The body does not intrude upon it. Any relationship in which the body enters is based not on love, but on idolization. Love wishes to be known, completely understood and shared. It has no secrets, nothing that it could keep apart and hide. It walks in sunlight. I love that. A holy relationship walks in sunlight. Absolute vulnerability, absolute truth, absolute honesty, absolute, have nothing to hide from you. I can trust you, you can trust me. Open-eyed and calm, in smiling welcome, and in sincerity, so simple and so obvious it cannot be misunderstood. It has no secrets and nothing that it would keep apart and hide. Paul Ferrini says it this way. My teaching is a simple one. I teach forgiveness of sins. I teach that sin itself is not real. It seems to be real only because you believe that you can be injured. You believe you are the body. And so when the body has been injured, you believe that an injustice has been done to you. I understand that it is hard for you to relinquish that belief. Yet that is what I ask you to do. Let's say that again. I understand that it is hard for you to relinquish that belief. Yet that is what I ask you to do. You are not the body, for the body is born and dies. And you are not born, nor do you die. You are no thought of limitation, for every thought that limits you is a body that will begin and end. The body is just the scope of your beliefs. There are dense bodies and light bodies, but all have a beginning or end. All are subject to some form of self-constriction. I am a thought without limitation, for I am ever expanding into the formless of God. So whatever you brought in here to Unity today that you're carrying, like, I don't know what to do right now. I'm in a job that I'm miserable. Or I'm really worried about my teenage child and the people that are surrounding him. Or I'm really tired of being alone and feeling alone in this world. I'm just need to be seen today. I just need somebody to see me and say hello and help me heal. Does anybody have things they'd like to call out that they came in with today? Who's brave that can say what they came in with today? Heartbreak. Fear. Money. Pain? Pain. Say that louder. More stuff. More stuck. Okay, stuck, okay. Negative self-talk, that's a good one. Instability. Love distorted and lost. Rejection. Worry about climate change. Yeah, that storm last night, right? Negative mind chatter. Indecision. Doesn't it feel good to tell the truth? To be brave enough, to be able to be vulnerable, to show your heart, to say, you know what? Somebody else might not understand what this indecision is about, but I know that everybody in this room has had indecision. Or somebody's talking about money and a worry of money, and everybody might not be having a worry about money, but everybody has had a chance to be worried about money. We're all in different phases of our life, but we are all one. And how else is God going to help each person than through us to other people? Through our physical and spiritual experience, we don't stop and look at the homeless person, and when we give them money, to look in their eyes and let them be seen, because, oh wait, they're made in the image and likeness of God just like me. If I knew their story, it would probably break my heart. But I don't want to know their story because I have too much stuff in my own life to fix anybody else. How many have that? You know, or the draining friend that just calls all the time and just drains you dry of energy. But don't you know that every time you're giving that energy to that person, that you actually are making room for even more great beauty to come in your life, because that friend's in your life for a reason. And it is sometimes time to let go of friendships. That happens too. Sometimes there's a spiritual evolution that's going on. It's time to let go of the old, limited nature that is surrounded in your friendships, and it's time to open up to new friendships. That's where I'm at. That's why I started the women's group. When I went through that breakup of this past life experience with this human being, not only did that person disappear from life, but all my girlfriends went with him. You go from your phone ringing all day, every day, it never rang. Oh my God, I identified with that phone ringing. My self-worth was connected to that. That's a powerful lesson, right? And yet now I love that my phone doesn't ring all the time. I've filled that void with nature. I've filled that void with running. I've filled that void with Nia dancing here at Unity 3 times a week. I've filled that void with taking care of myself, and I've never been happier. Not having the drama and the things that surrounded me, but it was a loss. It broke me to my core. That phase, that year was a living nightmare. But I wouldn't change it for anything, because that quiet, the crickets of that phone, the heartbreak that I was going through and having to still wake up and take care of the children and still get up here and do sermons, I learned so much about the power of God that lives within me. I met Syntysche face to face, this soul that has had many lifetimes, many, many lifetimes. And I got to regain all the knowledge of all those many lifetimes because it was quiet enough for me to wake up to this Akashic realm that moves in through all of us. We have a channel of blessings that is constantly there to help us, grow us, be us. If we can quiet the world down and open up to this majesty of this powerful life experience. I was thinking about this sermon for like the last week. And honestly, it brought a lot of stuff back up. I mean, I really try to not go back to that phase. But there's always more that has to get unearthed within yourself, because it also makes you better and better, you know. And I had a lot of tears on my own, you know, kind of asking, why did I have to go through that? Like, why would I have had to go through that? But then it's like, oh, that was born out of that. That was birthed out of that. That light came from that. And I was thinking about that. I was at a lake by myself with Gilly, my dog, and I was thinking about all the blessings that are in my life now. You know, I live in nature. I have a farm next to me with baby animals every day that we get to discover all the time with my kids. There's cats having babies all the time, so there's kittens constantly. And I live off of the St. Vrain Road, where it's a habitat for bald eagles. So every day, I see bald eagles, 1, 2, 3 a day. And my husband, I mean, have you met my husband? I'm like so blessed, it's ridiculous. And I was thinking about this while I was driving, and I was coming back from my run, and there were 2 huge bald eagles. And I stopped my car, and I started to cry. If I had not been brave enough to finally go to my father and say, Dad, I'm in real trouble. And I'm thinking these things of this world, this person can destroy my life, this whole idea. He didn't believe in any of that. He looked at me and said, no, he can't. Nobody can destroy anybody. The only reason why he has any power is because somewhere in you, you believe that you're anything less than perfect. He would have never gained so much freedom in you if you were harboring the powerful girl that I know that you are. And that's for all of you. If you knew the power that lives within you, that I see in you, you'd be brave enough to get that helmet on, jump off that freaking cliff, and start looking for that freaking net, because it's there, and it's waiting for you. God bless you.
From a distance, the world is blue and green, and the snow-capped mountains white. From a distance, the ocean meets the stream, and the eagle takes to flight. From a distance, there is harmony, and it echoes through the land. It's the voice of hope, it's the voice of peace, it's the voice of everyone. From a distance, we all have enough, and no one is in need. There are no guns, no bombs, and no disease, no hungry mouths to feed. From a distance, they are instruments marching in a common band, playing songs of hope, playing songs of peace. They're the songs of everyone. Love is guiding us, love is guiding us, love is guiding us across the distance. From a distance, you look like my friend, even though we are at war. From a distance, I just cannot comprehend what all this fighting's for. From a distance, there is harmony, and it echoes through the land. It's the hope of hopes, it's the love of loves, it's the heart of everyone. It's the hope of hopes, it's the love of loves, it is the song of everyone. Oh, love is guiding us, love is guiding us, love is guiding us across the distance.